That's right. That's right. All right. I think we are live. Thank you, everybody who has already joined the chat and has been waiting. I have the pleasure to bring on Ryan from RNZY. I'm assuming Lindsay and Avery are sitting this one out.
Yeah, they're in the other room. They're going to hear me getting all riled up in a good way, talking shoes with you. Avery's trying to go to sleep, and that's probably not going to happen.
Cool. Well, I'm super stoked to have you on. As you guys see, I titled this video, Why Finding Your Niche is So Important. So I have a few questions lined up that are going to kind of focus on that, because I have been getting a lot of requests to make a video on why I only sell shoes, and there's no one better to have on than Ryan. So I don't want you to repeat your story for the millionth time, but just to kick off the conversation, just in case anybody doesn't know who you are, maybe my mom's watching and she doesn't know who you are. You want to give like a quick rundown of who you are, what you do, and how you got into shoes?
Yeah. First of all, hello to Mrs. Dealing with Dalton, like the mom. What up, Darren, Dana, Tori, Rudy? My name's Ryan. My beautiful wife, Lindsay, and I are full-time shoe resellers. We're coming up on 5 years. We started back in 2017. We live up in the woods in Maine. We, well, with respect to the title, we started off, we went full-time before we sold our first pair of shoes, and we figured it out. We just like are, as you know, Dalton, but if you're watching this, you don't know, we're very accountable to ourselves. We don't make any excuses. There's nothing outside of ourselves that are going to prevent us from winning. And with that mentality, we started 5 years ago, and we tried a bunch of different stuff. And then very quickly, like literally within the first month, we realized that shoes were the most enjoyable for us. And so we decided to just only sell shoes. And we've done both used shoes and new shoes. We've used multiple marketplaces, and over the years, we've used dozens of marketplaces over the years. And now we've whittled it down to Poshmark, Mercari, and Facebook Marketplace are our main platforms as of right now. We're not romantic to those, but they're just working really well for us right now. So we're going to keep pouring gas on that. Did I miss anything?
I think you nailed it. One thing that I did want to mention. So when I first tried to go full-time reselling, I was selling everything. And I don't know if you know, but that lasted me about 2 months, if that, before I had to go get a part-time job. And when I went back to that job, I was really focusing on what went wrong, because I've seen so many people are successful at reselling. And that through that process, I'd always followed you guys, but like I never had the thought of selling in one category, just because I was being romantic about selling everything. I mean, it's cool to sell video games. It's cool to sell electronics. But for some reason that thought crossed my mind. And then I kind of dove more into your content at that point and realized that when you sell in one category, there's a ton of perks that we're going to get into over the course of this live stream. And that's what caused me to stick to only shoes. So I'm wondering, you said that you went full-time before you sold your first pair of shoes, and within a month you switched strictly to shoes. How did that process work out? Did you like, I know you started with like wooden bowls. I always hear you mention that. Was it hard for you to cut some of those things out, or was it just like a switch?
It wasn't hard to cut out wooden bowls for sure, because I'm not very passionate about wooden bowls. But to compound on a great question that you just asked, we just started with what we had. Like, first of all, when we first started, this is how naive we were and how big the opportunity is. We didn't understand that people bought shoes online. Like our first 1,000 pairs was meeting up with people. You know, we'd post them on Facebook Marketplace, and then we'd meet in our local area, and we'd literally hand them the shoes. They would try them on, and then they'd give us the money. This was obviously pre-pandemic. And we had no idea that people actually bought shoes online from other people. I get you can go online and buy Nikes and Adidas, but like, so that's how we just started with what we knew. And so to answer your question, we didn't have any money. We had a zero buying budget. So we looked around, we each had a couple pairs of shoes in our closet. We had wooden bowls. We had an extra toaster. You know, we had all the things around the house that you think you need, but you never actually use. And so we started posting those up. And then as we started meeting up with people and selling them the toasters and the wooden bowls, And then we ran out of stuff to sell. We were like, well, what's the thing that we enjoy talking to people about? What's the thing that we enjoy? And very quickly we realized like it was shoes. And we only were like, all right, we're just going to sell Nikes. Like we're just going to sell Nike and like Under Armour and New Balance. And we had no idea how many brands there was. We had no idea. So we just focused on those. And over time we grew and grew and grew. In the first month, we said we needed to pay all of our bills. Right. So we did what I just said. We started with, and then we realized like within the shoe category, we realized like, all right, we can go to the thrifts and start spending less than $10 and sell them for $25. And that gave us a benchmark to say, well, how many times do we need to do that in order to pay our bills? And so very quickly we realized like, if we use that benchmark, of course, there's going to be pairs that you eventually can sell for more than 25. But if we use that one building block, we know exactly what our business needs to do in order to reach the goals that we have. And then we were just off and running.
100%. That was the biggest factor for me, because whenever you work a regular job, you don't have to budget in purchasing inventory. So that's like the hardest when you start any business, really. That's the hardest thing to adjust to. And when my first initial reselling venture failed, I realized that I didn't have a budget. And whenever you sell in one category and you know that on average you're going to pay $10 per pair for shoes and you're going to get $25 after fees, you know how many that you need to sell each day to pay all your bills. And you can write that budget. Like if you want to list 5 items a day, you know that your budget for that week is going to be $350. So you can get 35 pairs of shoes. So you can list 5 pairs 7 days a week, as long as my math was right there.
So nailed it.
That's huge. And I think you said you've been selling shoes. Just to address John Davidson, he asked how long it has been taking you to sell 1 million in sales. Is that 5 years?
Yeah. And we're over 1 million. That we always under promise, over deliver type of thing. Like we're definitely over 1 million, but it's safe to say, 1 million in gross. I think we'll have to double check because it's harder to track on Facebook. But it's over 1 million in 5 years. And dude, my man, we're doing this interview on a freaking computer.
I was going to bring this up. You told me last time we talked that you finally bought a computer. I love that. Let's hear how you're liking it so far.
John Davidson, you asked a really good question. My beautiful wife and I sold $1 million in shoes before we even bought a computer. Talk about no excuses. Like we had this is an iPhone 12, but we had like an iPhone 7. And then eventually we were like, maybe we should get a computer. And to be honest with you, we very rarely use it. Like I told you before we jumped on, we've had a little flood problem going on that we're dealing with this morning. But I was like, yo, Lindsay, can you like download the app StreamYard on our computer? Because like I don't even the point of I'm like you don't need all these fancy gadgets in order to get the job done.
I will ask. It's different, I'd say, because you don't sell on eBay, because eBay doesn't have all the same features on their desktop as they do on mobile, or I think I got that backwards. But has having the computer even made anything simpler for you at all?
It's just different. I mean, I guess you could use the word simpler if, for example, like if we're looking on our marketplace on the phone and we can look at our Google Sheets on the computer, like I guess it's simpler to not have
not switching tabs and stuff. Yeah.
But don't get it twisted. Like, and what you said is very true, right? Like there might be certain circumstances where it does make sense. However, it's not like you can't win without like a thermal printer and like a fancy computer. We're going to talk about this some more. Like if it makes you feel more comfortable, which means you get more stuff done. Game on. And for us, the phone was enough for a while.
Yep. So since you brought it up, have you thought about grabbing a Rolo or maybe a Dymo or anything?
No, I haven't. We don't what is it? Don't change what's not broken.
What's not broken?
Like,
yeah. Okay.
Like I'll tell you this. People think that you spend more on ink and like you do all this stuff, but like we don't. Our printer has said you need to replace the ink for like 7 months. And we print like 20 plus labels a day. So like,
right.
I get the printers telling you to do that, but like we haven't.
And I've just never used a regular printer. It's the papers that you use. Are they like peel and stick? Same thing?
Yeah, USPS label 228. And so
Okay.
you you put that in and it prints right on those and it's a sticker label.
Cool. Andrew had a question. What percentage of your sales come from each platform? Or just a rough guess if you had to.
Most of them are on Poshmark. Second is Facebook, which is like barreling towards catching up with Poshmark, and Mercari's our third.
Cool. I'm going to bounce down here to the ATL flipper. He wants to know if he bought you a Rolo, would you use it?
No, ATL, I will not. First of all, I love those guys. The ATL flippers are amazing. First of all, you guys are amazing. Second of all, no. Third of all, we're coming to Atlanta to go source with you guys because we freaking love the Atlanta flippers.
Hey, listen, that's not too far from me either, so you better hit my line.
We'll definitely hit it up. We just agreed. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, but we just agreed to a big event in August that we're going to be part of. That's going to be down in that neck of the woods. So of course,
I think I know what event you're talking about. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So we're going to work it out. So it's more than just, coming down for that event, but we want to meet up with the ATL flippers. We want to do some sourcing with you. So keep the Rolo money and then we'll all go source together. Like that'll be more beneficial to us.
Love that. And since I mentioned eBay earlier, I guess if there's anybody in the chat that doesn't know, you want to give a quick rundown why you don't use eBay?
Yeah, to respect everyone's time, it's just personal preference. Like whenever we get this question, we lead with, it's not because you can't build a monster business on eBay. It's just personal preference, how we function. We used to sell on eBay, and I think they changed it to a 90-day now. It used to be a 30-day. We used to sell like $5,000 to $6,000 per month on eBay while we were using Facebook. And then when we realized there's other marketplaces, we started testing everywhere and it just whittled down. One thing for us is we couldn't keep up with running multiple marketplaces when one of them was eBay. And again, I'm not sitting here saying like it's not possible. But it's just how we function as resellers. It just wasn't working out. So we just use other marketplaces, personal preference.
Yeah, I agree. There's pros and cons, especially if you're selling on multiple marketplaces. Having eBay in the mix makes it significantly harder than not having eBay in the mix because they are super strict. And if you have too many canceled orders and if you're relying too much on eBay's income, just simple mistakes that are going to happen could throw off your entire month. So, I respect it. And you recently added, you went a while without selling on Facebook Marketplace, correct?
Yeah. Started strong on Facebook, built our whole business on Facebook, then got off of it and then brought it back on.
Cool. And so since you're always thinking of adding marketplaces back into the mix, since eBay has been making a lot of changes recently that is more seller friendly, has it even crossed your mind to give it another shot?
It's crossed our mind. We're not going to do it yet. It's never, ever off the table. Nothing's ever off the table. We stick true to what we say. Like we're not romantic to what's not working. We pour gas on what is. And right now, like we're thinking about dropping Mercari, and we've done over $170,000 in sales on Mercari. And we're thinking possibly maybe, if it wasn't so easy to cross list, and our strategy wasn't just let it sit on Mercari. Like if we were more labor-esque on Mercari, we would probably not use it, but we just, sit it and let it fly. And I'm telling you, this isn't true, but like as soon as we start saying out loud that we're not going to use Mercari, like a ton of sales come in on Mercari. So we're like,
listen, I've been getting crap for the past like 3 weeks at least, because every time I go live and I'm talking to people, I'm done with Mercari. I'm not selling on Mercari anymore. It's not happening. And the next day I'll post like a $150 sale. I'm like, I didn't have a single sale last week. And the second I'm telling people publicly that I'm done with Mercari, they start rolling in. And like you said, it's just so easy to list on. But I think it's even, I'm putting even more thought into it because of me selling on eBay, because having that extra platform that I need to be delisting off of that has the opportunity of items selling, like it just makes eBay more complicated. But everything works. And Drew's trolling, so I'm not gonna let him feel like
Drew. What's up, Drew?
If he bought you a $500 computer monitor, would you use it?
No, I wanna ride some scooters with Drew. Is what I want to do. So keep the $500 computer monitor. I know because he's razzing on you because you just bought one, but like I wanna, when I come down, I just want to go scoot with Drew.
Yep. We got to get you on the disc golf course too.
Oh hell yeah, count me in.
John Davidson, RNZY do you go by RNZY now on YouTube too, or is it just RNZY?
Dude, I don't even know if it's RNZY or RNZY now. The way we approach social media, YouTube included, Instagram, Facebook, this is, we want to make it easier for us to be able to answer people's questions at scale. So we started a YouTube channel and we're like doing the things where we're showing thrift hauls and all that stuff like that. It wasn't as fun for us. So we said, all right, what are the most common questions? And let's answer those questions in video form. So now when it happens 12 times a day, what boxes do you use? So instead of answering that question, we send the video, like how we ship shoes, and it's going to answer all the questions they're going to have after we answer which boxes do you use, and all the other questions that people ask. That's how we created our YouTube channel.
Cool. So to answer that, yes. And I'm sure if you just search RNZY, it's going to pop up.
Yeah. Well, the reason I don't know the name of it is because when I started a YouTube channel like a decade ago, like in a different lifetime, and the name was like 13 numbers.
Right.
Like, I don't even know how it came up. And then when we started our RNZY channel, we just kept using that. And then eventually we figured out how to change the name. And I don't even know if you just look up RNZY and either a sailing team from New Zealand is going to show up or us.
Cool. I do want to address this real quick. Darren Russell said, I'm thinking Mercari raising their shipping rates is going to lose a lot of their customers. And before you touch on this, I will also touch on this. I disagree with this simply because they had people were saying the same thing when they added that 2.9% on their fees. And they're not raising their shipping rates to pick on people and make more money. They're raising their shipping rates because USPS is raising their shipping rates. So that's going to affect every single selling platform. I don't think it's going to affect their customer base at all, really. I mean, do you have anything to touch on that, or?
No, I agree 100%. I mean, here's the reality. Every single year, the prices are going to go up on shipping, period.
Yeah.
So like,
just get used to it.
Get used to it. Yeah. And get ready for it and prepare for it. And then let me take that a step further. What Dalton and I mean by prepare for that is when you are sourcing, have that in mind. Don't bring stuff home and then all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm not going to make any money because the shipping is $1.50 more. Like that's not good. That's not good sourcing.
Yeah. Like, and if you're like you said, if you're sourcing at a point that $1.50 is going to affect your overall business, then you need to reevaluate what you're picking up.
Right.
Someone else. Oh, I wanted to give a shout out to Dana Invest. He is crushing it on Poshmark with that 0.001% sales. I love that.
Wait, so Dana's all eBay?
I believe so. Yes.
All right.
All
sweet.
eBay. All right. So trying to get back on topic. Before we just dive into everything, what would you say the number one biggest benefit of selling in one single category would be?
You can easily create efficient systems, period. Like, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and touch on that.
Let me answer it this way, because it's a little bit different than I've normally answered it. People think reselling is unpredictable, and it's not. Like, I get that you could go into a thrift and there might not be any good pairs, but if you have a sourcing route that allows you to see thousands and thousands of pairs, you're guaranteeing you're coming home with some profit. Now, when you niche down, you can create systems that create a predictable business. So in 2022, we moved from averaging our buy cost every week to every month, and we sourced way ahead of time, so that right now in February, we're sourcing everything that we got in January. We know exactly how many we need to list every day. We know how much we're going to pay our staff to clean and list, or to clean and photograph. We know how much listing is going to cost. Like it's very predictable based on the inventory and tracking our sell-through rates. We can predict how much money not to exact amount, but with some certainty how much we're going to make. And then we can adjust accordingly if something crazy like a freaking pandemic happens.
True. You said so much in there that I want to touch on. But back to the source thing. Like you said, it is very predictable if you've created this sourcing route that is consistently giving you the amount of inventory that you need to hit your listing goals every week. But the thing that is unpredictable that people don't realize is that we're not hunting for home runs.
Right.
We're picking up the bread and butter sales that we're never going. I mean, we do, but we're not going to be bragging about on Instagram about.
Yeah.
Like there's times where I'll go, I mean, the other day when I went sourcing with Joey, that was a good example. We started the day late and we had to run my route backwards. So it was different and I didn't have a great day, but I still picked up 75 pairs of shoes.
Right.
Only one of those was a pair of Hokas, and that was like head and shoulders above everything else that I found. But everything else that I found is those pairs that I'm going to pick up for, I think my average cost was like $750 or $850, and they're going to sell for $25 to $30 after shipping and fees. But
you know what we're doing? We're playing beer league men's softball. Let me explain.
Touch on that.
In beer league men's softball, you're only allowed to hit one home run an inning.
That's you're spot on.
Okay. So what we're doing is we're filling the bases, and then we're hitting that home run. Most people are going to step up to the plate. If you have a player on your team and he's the first person up to bat and he hits a home run, you don't want to come to the dugout.
Exactly.
You don't, because you've just wasted all the rest of the inning. You see what I'm saying? So like picking up 75 pairs and then the cream of the crop was the Hokas is like music to my ears, because I completely relate and agree with that. We'll walk into thrifts as people are walking out with like 2 or 3 pairs and they'll be like, "Oh my God, RNZY, what's up? Nothing but crap in here." And we're like, we just drove 3 hours. We're going to go check anyway. And then we'll come out with 60 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. The reason it is predictable is because 99% of resellers aren't picking up the shoes that we're picking up. It's they go in there, they're looking up comps specifically on eBay. And I use the Skechers example all the time when explaining this, because you go on eBay and you type in Skechers and there's hundreds of people selling brand new in the box Skechers for $25. But those same exact Skechers will sell pre-owned on Poshmark for $30. It doesn't make sense to me, but it doesn't have to make sense to me because it's just, it works.
Well, and I hope people hear what you just said, because we made the mistake of skipping on Skechers for like the first 2.5 years of our solely on assumption, right? Like 2 things. We passed on Skechers because we just assumed, and we didn't know what Hokas were. We thought they were shoes that clowns wore in the bull riding ring. And then when you start looking this stuff up, you're like, wait a second. Yeah, there's some money here.
Yep. So before I ask a few of my questions, we'll hop into the chat and get some of these.
Cool. Love it.
On Facebook and Mercari, you charge for shipping or free?
We've done both. Both work, and you can adjust accordingly. So like if we list something for like $49 and it's just not moving, 49 plus shipping. Wait, no. We'll use it as like a tactic. Like both work. If you want to price lower and have the buyer pay shipping, that's worked for us. If you want to price higher and offer free shipping, that's worked. If you want to price higher and have the buyer pay shipping, and then say, if you buy 2 pairs from me, I'll give you free shipping, and use the 2 to 5 pound range, that works. Like I know that sounds like such a bummer answer, because it's not like doesn't give someone like one direct path, but the answer is all work.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that are killing it doing both of them. So just pick one that you like and stick with it. ATL Flippers wants to know what your biggest shoe flip is.
We have, so in hand right now, we have a pair of Jordan 4 Unions dead stock that Lindsay got on sneakers. So we haven't flipped that yet, but we can easily make over $500 on that pair. We've sold tons of pairs that we've got under $10. We've sold over $200 in all different, like the most recent one was a pair of Kobe's, I think. I'm trying to think. a couple $100, but back to the conversation we had, like, sweet. That's great. But like, I'd rather sell 100 pairs of shoes a day and profit like 25, $30 each pair.
Yeah. Yeah. Repeat that $200 sell. You can't.
Right. And it's harder. Let me say one more thing. It's harder to like get that buyer to buy more right away. It's easy to sell someone a pair of Skechers, and when they get them, they're so pumped that they're like, I'm actually going to go buy 3 more pairs from you.
100%. And I don't know if you see my story this morning, but I just had a couple $100, those hunter boots that I picked up at the flea market for $5.
Those wedge hunters were sick.
Yeah. I think I listed them at 220, and an international buyer offered me 190. So they paid $50 in shipping. So I'm like, it's all yours, dude.
All yours. Good win.
Yeah. Why did you stop picking up shoes from the Nike outlet, or have you?
Yeah. Oh, well, in northern New England, they closed almost all of the outlets. So when Nike made the switch to start selling used shoes on their own recently, they closed, no joke. So we used to have like 5 or 6 thrifts, or 5 or 6 Nike outlets. There was only 2 in Maine, but 1 near us. And of course the one near us was like never good. So we would always drive down to the Boston area and do all those, but they closed like 4 of the 6 outlets that are within 6 hours of where we live. And so we would have to drive, 10, 15 hours to do that route. And because of the supply chain issues, it was harder for each of the outlets to get the inventory. So it gave them less of an incentive to run bigger sales. So the price was not going down, and more people were going to less locations. So again, I'm not making an excuse. There was still profitable pairs, but Lindsay and I, especially she was pregnant, like, we're not going to drive 15 hours to maybe bring home 10 or 15 pairs of shoes. Yep.
So the example I was going to give is I've never really been huge in the Nike outlets, just because the competition is like stiff here, and I don't want to source a whole day to pick up 10 or 15 pairs, like you said. But I do find some success at, like, I mean, I haven't been in a while, but like Plato's Closet, Ross, Marshall's, Burlington, those kind of places. It's fairly common to find success there, but again, we want predictability, not unpredictability. And they are far less predictable than just going to the thrift route that we know works over and over and over again.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this, what Dalton is saying is it's gold, right? Like, imagine waking up and going to a job that you could make as much money as you possibly want, take any days off that you want, and predict like how much money you're going to make. Never have to ask your boss, can I have a raise? Just make more money. Like, it's crazy what people will let bog them down. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine if I was sitting here trying to convince you that you can't sell shoes on eBay? Like, how dumb and how silly of a conversation that would be. Right?
You're spot on.
And it's funny because people will message us and be like, I can't sell shoes on Poshmark. And it's like, no, you can. You just are treating it like Facebook Marketplace.
Yep, 100%. And those people, and the opposite is true. People message me that come from Poshmark saying they can't sell shoes on eBay. And it's like, because you're treating it like Poshmark. There's different buyers on all platforms. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to respect the market.
Lori had a question. I'll go ahead and answer this one. She asked, if in the example of Skechers that sell for twice the price on Posh, do you list those pairs only on Posh and not on eBay? I choose to still list them on eBay on the off chance that I do get the sale, because the cross listing doesn't take that much extra time. And it's more of a headache, in my experience, to have different inventory on different platforms. It's better, at least for me, to have the same thing across everything.
Yeah, it's such a less headache to know that it's listed everywhere. And I think the one thing that I'm going to pull out that you said that's important is, because you have a system to list on all those marketplaces. If you don't, you should not be using multiple marketplaces unless you have a system to be able to keep track of that. Because very quickly, it's going to turn into a shit show, because like, you don't remember if a pair is on a certain marketplace. So then when you go to like delist it, you might be just wasting time. It might not even be there.
Or the opposite could be true, is you think that
Yeah.
you only listed it on one platform and then it sells on another because you thought that you didn't list it there. So
Yeah.
Zach wants to know roughly how many listings do you have listed across the platforms?
Zach, great question. Love what you're putting out. Don't know why people ask this question.
I don't either.
Well, I know why, because I'm going to give you the answer. And then the Utah bought and gone is going to say, all right, if RNZY has X amount and they're selling X amount, that means that generally speaking, if I get X amount of listings up, I should have the same amount. It's not the case. It's not the case. We have 2,937 pairs of shoes up on all 3 marketplaces that we use. But that gives you, it does not help you at all, because we also know people that have 10,000 listings and only sell 1 or 2 things a day. And we know people that have less than 500 listings and they'll sell through them in a month. So like, the best advice I can give you, and I appreciate the question, Utah bought and gone. The best advice is focus on quality with respect to the marketplace you're using, and then do as much of that as possible.
And I'd also like to add in, so Drew gives me a hard time all the time because I'm picking up brands like Keds. And they, like, you know, they don't sell very fast, but they'll eventually sell for like 25. So if I find a pair of Keds for $5, I'm going to pick them up because I know they'll sell for $25 on Poshmark, but it might take 3 months. But I'm willing to do that because, you know, unlike you, I'm not walking into a thrift store and picking up 60 pairs of shoes. I got to hit, you know, 10 stops, pick up 10 to 20 per stop. So the more, like, we're dealing in volume. So the more shoes, the more brands that I'm selling, the more shoes that I'm picking up, the more opportunities of sales I'm having each day. So when I'm picking up those brands, that's going to increase my active listings, decreasing my sell-through rate. But if I stop picking up those brands, I'd have less active listings, but my sell-through rate would be through the roof. So it's just quality versus quantity.
Let me compound on what you just said. I don't know if people heard what you said, but there's one tiny thing that's super, super very important. The Keds were $5.
Spot on. Yeah.
Because people will hear us talking about this and buy a pair of Keds for $14.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense, because a $14 pair of Keds raises your buy cost across the board, but a $5 pair lowers your buy cost across the board. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're listening to this, a $5 pair of Keds is way more valuable than a $14 pair of Keds. Same exact pair, 100%. Same exact everything. So Dalton, I think that's a smart move. One, you have the storage and the systems to handle it. 2, it's a $5 pair, not a $14 pair. And you're honest about what it's going to sell for. Like, we hear people say, how come my Ked and then my $14 pair? Well, I had to list them for $49 because I bought them for $23. It's like, you got to back way up.
100%. That's why it's not selling, and you can't complain about it not selling fast enough. Like, I go into every single purchase that I pick up, like, knowing that this might take a little while to sell. Like, it's something we're prepared for. So back to trying to think what I was going to ask next. You said do you have a listing goal right now? Like a certain number that you're listing every day?
Everything we've sourced.
Everything. Okay. So you're a no death pile kind of guy. You want to list as many as you can every single day.
Yeah. Well, let me elaborate. So we have a 4-month-old daughter now, which we're super excited about, which is
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We, so it's changed our schedule a little bit. We still go to bed super early. Like, we've trained her to go to bed super early and wake up early with us and like all that stuff. But, we don't believe in like a death pile, but we do believe in like having a queue, right? So we have a plan and we know when and by when all the shoes need to be listed. That doesn't mean that there's not unlisted inventory. And so let me compound on what I said earlier. We sourced all of January to list everything in February. We got 641 pairs in January. So that means we got to list around 23 pairs a day if we want to list every single day. Now, today has been a very challenging day for us already because of stuff not related to shoes. Our freaking garage is flooded. So like today we might not list as many as we'd like, but we know we got to make up for it. We also like, let's say in 2 weeks, we want to go on like a little mini vacation. we'll list a bunch more leading up to that, so that at the end of
Mm.
February, all 641 pairs are listed. And I think people will hear that and use that as an excuse. But Lindsay and I are accountable to ourselves in our business. So we know by the end of February, it's all going to be listed. It's just not. Go ahead.
So what you're telling me is you're operating monthly, and every single month you're picking up X number of shoes, and then your goal for February is get those shoes listed.
Yeah, we have a buying budget for the month based on all of the stuff that's going on in our world. And we try to maximize that buying budget, get as many shoes with that buying budget as we possibly can, keeping our average buy cost under $10. Our buying budget was $6,000 for January. And we spent 5,700 and change and got 641 pairs. So like but where my mind goes is like, we didn't maximize, right? Like we still had a little bit, a couple $100 we could have got it, but whatever, like that's okay.
Right.
But, so now we're in February, we're sourcing for March. And so what I'm trying to show is like, we create predictability in our business. We're not like, how many pairs do we have to list this week? Or like, oh my gosh, we found this one stop that had 80 pairs and now we brought in 300 pairs. Like we have to like spend all weekend listing 100 pairs a day. Like for us, that doesn't work for us. Like we need to create an evolving system that backs us up. Like we're accountable to ourselves, right? I can tell you right now, all of that is going to be listed by the end of February. But what I can't tell you is like, we're going to list 23 pairs a day, every single day.
Gotcha. So I'll go ahead and answer that myself. Because I think it's a different perspective as someone that sells on eBay, because I'm sure you know, eBay's algorithm is insane. And
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, you may have heard their algorithm is insane. And, I've been similar to that, where say I don't list a day or two, I'd catch up on my listings the next day. And so there would be like one day that I'd list 60 items, and then it would be followed by 2 or 3 days where I didn't list anything. And I didn't see that affect my Poshmark or Mercari sales much. Maybe a little bit Mercari. I do find that if you list daily on Mercari, you do have a little bit better luck, but I don't know if that's just happenstance or if it's a fact. But on eBay, like at the end of last year, just evaluating month by month, like why my best months were my best months and why my worst months were my worst months. It all came down to eBay. And the months that eBay performed exceptionally well were my best sales months, my best profitable months. And the thing that I was doing consistently those months was I listed every single day, whether it was 5 items or 20 items, I listed every single day. Cool. So right now I'm not operating month to month, because this is my biggest issue that I'm facing right now. I'm living in an apartment. I'm in my own bedroom, and I can't really take up much of the living room, and having too much going on in my room just invites stress, and I don't want to be thinking about work all the time. Yep, so if I source a month in advance, I'd just be having all this inventory sitting around in my house, and I just feel like I needed to get it done.
Yeah.
So I'm more operating week to week, and I'm going on 1 to 2 sourcing trips per week. And then those are coming in. I'll get them cleaned as fast as it takes. And then I'll photograph them as fast as it takes. And then every single morning when I wake up, I'm listing 10, I'm cross listing 10 to 15. And then after that, your day's done. As resellers, we make our money when we list things. So I think it's best to, whether your listing goal is, whether you have a listing goal or you don't, get those listings done early, so then you can focus on life. You know
what we've just done here? We've shown 2 great examples and eliminated excuses.
100%.
Because like, if someone's like, you just nailed it, you're like, hey, that won't work for me, which is why you shouldn't do it. And you showed by example, like, this is how I do it. Now, people that are listening to this now have 2 very good examples, and we're both selling a ton of shoes. So like, we're just eliminating more excuses.
And something just came to my head. This thought came to my head last night with the reel that I posted, kind of promoting this live. Obviously, I was being funny, and I was trying to throw in the 3 questions that you probably get asked a whole lot that are kind of, I wouldn't say annoying, but just kind of repetitive. Did I nail those?
Nailed them.
How often do you get asked eBay questions?
We have the luxury, and I mean that, of connecting with hundreds of resellers every day on Instagram. So every single day.
Yes. I figured. That's why I kind of threw that in there. what I didn't expect is, not a lot of people get my humor. So I had a lot of people DMing me or commenting like, they don't sell on eBay, right? I'm
Oh
like,
man.
yeah. And then
Well,
after reading this, I'm just like, this thought came to my head, and I hope somebody in the chat will get something out of this. There's so many people, so many resellers who know more about their favorite influencer's business than they know about their own business.
yep.
And
Well, the world is a squirrely place, man.
yeah. So I'm just what we just talked about, like what's working for you wouldn't work for me, and what's working for me wouldn't work for you. So I'm just
Yeah.
encouraging people to figure out what's working for you and double down on that.
Well, let me share by example what we do too. Like we look at people that have what we want, right? Whether
Mhm,
that's more free time or whether that's
mhm,
higher sales or whether that's anything in between what I just said. Because like life's not all about money, but
mhm,
life is not all about like working all the time and all this stuff. And then what we'll do is ask them a bunch of questions, which is why we love when people ask us questions.
mhm,
Sometimes people answer, sometimes they don't. And then we'll whittle down the things that will work for us, and we'll add our
mhm.
little flavor into it. And so that's the way to build a reselling business. And because a reselling business is 100% on you, you can't
Mhm.
be somebody else. Like it makes no
100%.
sense. That it's the same as getting a job that you don't like. If you're trying to
Mhm,
do exactly what other people are doing, you take a little piece. If we
mhm,
say like hokas are selling well, and go out and try to find hokas. If
mhm.
like there's no cookie cutter, this is the only way to do it.
Exactly. Spot on. Um, Another question I was going to ask with the listing, do you photograph and list the same items? Like when you're photographing items, are you listing those items in the same day?
So the answer is yes and no. So
Uh-huh.
we have a team, right, that helps us
Mhm,
clean and photograph, but we
mhm,
also clean and photograph. So like
mhm,
the 641 pairs, like I'll clean like 350 of those pairs myself, and
mhm.
then we'll have the team clean the rest of them because 350 of them barely need any cleaning. Like
Right.
very, very little. And the ones that they're cleaning only need 2 or 3 minutes to clean. So
Mhm.
your question was, do we photograph and list them right away, right?
Yeah, like in the same day, or do you like bulk photograph and then you have them on your phone and then you're listing them throughout the week, or is it like you'll photo, or your team will photograph what you want listed that day and then you'll list it the same day?
So the ones that I photograph, I'll list right away. Like
Okay,
I'll do either 5 or 10, and then I'll list them all, right?
cool.
Like at a time, just because we have Avery, she's only 4 months, so like we're
Mhm,
bouncing around doing all that stuff. But like I can do
mhm,
5 or 10 real quickly, photograph them real quickly, list them, and we're off and
mhm,
running. What our team does is we'll drop off tubs of like 50, 60, 70, 80 pairs at a time,
mhm,
and they will clean them, they will photograph them, they'll upload them to a Google Drive. We'll go through and say, you know what, you got to clean these a little bit more, or the
mhm,
photos look off here. Just do those. Once they're done, we'll
mhm,
pay them, and then we'll meet up with them and switch out. Like we'll pick up the pairs that they're done. So we don't list those ones until we have them back in hand, because they're going to start selling right when we list them.
mhm, mhm.
And we want to make sure we have them back in hand before they're up and listed.
Cool. And since we're talking about employees and having a team, I think this would fit well in with the theme of the video. How how much of a benefit do you think it is selling in one category when it comes to hiring?
I don't know how you would hire someone if you like. It's a challenge, like training someone on just shoes. And let's be clear, we don't even sell all the types of shoes.
Mhm. Yeah,
like we sell basically athletic shoes and boots. Like
exactly.
there's a couple, a
Yeah.
couple other styles trickled in, but like um so to train someone like on VCRs and shoes and pants and shirts, I don't like would drive me crazy, because like there's so many, let me put it this way. There's so many points where they can mess up.
Mhm.
Like now get back into the shoes. We train people to clean, and all they have to do is clean the midsole and the sole. They don't have to clean any uppers. They don't have to clean, like, literally all you got to do is clean the mid soles and the bottom, and that's it.
Mhm.
And here's all the tools, and here's, you know, videos showing you the different variations of the types of like, but it's very easy. And then here's what happens, right? Because it's very like, here's how you do what you do. It's very easy to hire, and it's very easy to say, this isn't working out.
100%.
And so like, if it's not working out, it's like, hey, you're not spraying the grandmas on the magic eraser and going like this. Like, that's it. There's not like, hey, can you Google how to, you know, deep clean the fly knit on these runners? Like, no, like, it's like, wipe the midsole, use the brush on the bottom of the shoes, take these 8 photos, and we pay per pair. How much money do you want to make?
Right. And your team, are they just cleaning and photographing?
Yes, we just hired someone to source for us, so we're testing that as well.
Cool. And to touch on basically what you were just touching on, except with the photo aspect of it, selling in one category and having them take the same photos of every single pair is also huge, because if you're selling in all these different categories, it's like you'll get your photos back from them, and they didn't take picture of like the model number of the VCR, and they're like, oh, I didn't know, because I'm not doing that every single day. You're just throwing wrenches into the machine.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And it's like, symmetry sells. And what I mean by that is, like, when people are looking through our closet, like, we have different colored backgrounds because we've been testing stuff. But like, they know they can see every square inch of the shoe, every single pair that they look at. So it's like, they never have to think in their mind, why aren't they showing this one piece? Like, I get sometimes people style stuff, and our early photos were like, we were trying to style, right? Like, we were trying to put one shoe on top of the other and like do all this stuff. But when you can see every square inch of what you're buying, there's no surprises, which means there's less returns, which means like, it's just easier. Everything is more fluid.
Yep. Before I hop into the chat to get some questions answered, you did remind me of something that I wanted to bring up. Why did you decide to switch to the colored background? I like that idea, as long as your answer is going to be what I think your answer is going to be. Go ahead.
Well, there's a couple things. We wanted to test something logistically, and 9 billion people on the planet were using the wooden background.
Yep.
Which, like, it's okay, right? It's okay. Yeah. But like, and well, here's the third reason. Like, I was getting sick of looking at the wood.
Okay.
So like, personal preference.
I like
actually,
that you guys.
Wait, I got a fourth. I got a fourth reason. My brother was working with us for a while, and I gave him the wooden box to like take photos, and then he stopped working with us, and I like don't want to go pick up the wooden box.
There you go. I liked it for the second reason, because there's so many people that will message me and they're like, what is your background called? Where do I find that background? Why can't I find this exactly what you're using? I'm just like, it doesn't matter. You're overthinking it. Go take it outside in your lawn. Like, as long as you're showing every single.
We were using our coffee table in the beginning, and then we were driving on the road in like a dirt road in Maine. And on the side of the road, we saw a wooden box, and I was like, oh, scheisse, we should like grab that and just take our photos in it. And then that was it. And then the colored background, we got the same thing. They're like, oh my God, where do you get that? And I was like, I don't know. It was a yoga mat that we found like in our basement. But now let me, so logistically, one thing that we've been testing is the background color can tell us how long the shoes have been listed for.
That's actually, yeah.
So like, we've been testing. So again, we're always trying to eliminate friction. Even, okay, I'm looking at this shoe on my computer. I can look up on my charts. It literally only takes a couple seconds, but imagine just looking at the color of the background, I can tell instantly how long I've had it. So I can tell instantly, should I accept this offer? I can send an offer instantly. But now over thousands of pairs, we can tell how long we've had. So now our wooden backgrounds are like, we've had it the longest.
I love that, because that's actually happened to me I've been doing the same thing for so long that I envy back when I was making small changes to my photo setup, because then every single time I got an offer, it's like, oh wow, I still had that photo set up. Yeah, I'm going to accept that offer.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope people are hearing what we're both saying here. Like, that fractional moment, that ease, that I don't have to go look at my chart, even though that's super easy. is like a game changer multiplied X amount of times over. Even if you only have like 100 listings, like to be able to instantly say like, oh, I've had this pair for 90 days. I'm going to accept this offer. And then boop, I'm off and running is
100%.
so valuable.
All right. So I'm going to hop into the chat.
Sweet.
Michael Duval, do you pre-write your handwritten thank you cards or the same day as they sell?
We used to handwrite them, and now we've moved to a printed version that gives people a coupon. And by coupon, like it's not as fancy as eBay. It's just like, hey, we like jokingly say something like, we say thank you obviously for your purchase, but we say something like, we also know this is not going to be the last pair you ever purchase. Thank you for your purchase. If you choose to purchase from us again, here's like a small coupon. And the coupon's like, we'll give you a discount, a percentage amount, and we use that on all marketplaces. So,
and do you want to mention where you buy the thank you cards from?
We don't buy them. We use our thrift printer and we print them.
Oh, okay.
And we cut the squares out.
Okay. Even better. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Southtown Finds, after how long do you delete the inventory photos from your phone?
As soon as they're listed.
Same here. What % profits do you work on?
Better than we did last month.
100%.
But I'll give you some actual numbers. So like, we 4x our money all day, but worst case scenario, we'll double our money on a pair of shoes. If it's longer than our 90-day threshold, or if we thought we were going to be able to clean a pair more than we couldn't clean a pair as well as we thought we could. I'll tell you what, we haven't spoken about this public, but we're getting more into like the heady 2.0 reseller stuff. Like, the question I've asked myself the last couple of weeks, Dalton, is like, what is happening with like a thrift chain? Like what problems are they having moving inventory, and how can I leapfrog their mistakes and move more inventory? You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like opened us up to be less romantic to certain parts of our business where we were very romantic, or let me be very transparent, where we thought we were being on point in parts of our business, and we realized we're being romantic to X, Y, and Z. And this practice of like a thrift chain gets 99% of their inventory for free, right? Why are they having trouble moving inventory? Why do they have a bottleneck of stuff that they can't get out into the floor? And the answer is because they're romantic to the price, or they're romantic to how much they pay their employees, or whatever. Now let me use an actual example. And I hope the Goodwills in our area watch your video, although they probably won't. They are spending money in Northern New England, throwing stuff away at the dump because you got to like pay to throw it away, rather than lowering the buy cost, paying employees more, and just getting through this inventory quicker. They have a bottleneck of stuff that they can't even process. So they're spending 6 figures every month, throwing it away at the dump so that people keep donating. And they're raising their prices. So they're running. So where my mind goes is like, all right, am I being romantic? Is there a bottleneck in my business? Like, do I think I should get more money on X, Y, and Z brands, and they're sitting in my garage that's now flooded? Or can I build a model that makes a profit? I'm not saying don't, but can move through inventory more. So at the end of my month, I'm making more money, but also keeping the free time that I have. And so those are the thoughts that are running through our mind right now, learning from people that do higher volume, but are making mistakes. How do we leapfrog those mistakes?
Interesting. I love that. Yeah. I hope the Goodwills in my area listen to that too. They're
they won't.
Pricing monitors for $500. So
yeah. Well, the problem is people buy the monitor for $500.
Yeah. Or like, you're not wrong.
You know what? And the answer is not don't buy the monitor. The answer is not don't buy the monitor. The answer is don't buy shoes. But the answer is I don't want to spend money throwing shoes away. Like, they're spending money throwing. And I'm not talking about stuff that's been in their store and then it goes to the bins and then they throw it away. I'm talking about
stuff they can't even get to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll answer this one. MSG Treasures. Ryan and Lindsay both have amazing content on their YouTube channel and their Instagram. You guys put out some, I don't know if they were shorts or just the videos of cleaning individual pairs, and those are super helpful. So bounce over their YouTube and Instagram, and they got tons of information there.
Let me add one thing, MSG.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to clean shoes is to source shoes that don't need a lot of cleaning.
100%. 100%. John Davidson, where do you store the 641 pairs of shoes? Assuming he's talking of the sourced inventory that hasn't been listed and put away into inventory yet.
Yeah. So we learned, we took a little Elm's good method in how they use their bins. Now they store in their bins, but we use racks to store our shoes that have been listed. And then we've created a bin system that is sourced. It's then separated into, what only needs photographed and what needs cleaned and photographed into bins that are stacked in our basement. And so like our method is, all right, we know this is a bin of, it's in bins of 20 pairs of shoes. So we're like, all right, this bin, this week, we know our staff members, some of them want a ton of shoes to clean because you make more money. And some will say, I only want photograph shoes this week because you make less money, but it goes quicker. So we can adjust those levers based on that storage system. And it's out of the way from our racks. So it's like, we just found a corner of our basement and stacked it up. You can store a tremendous amount of shoes when you're efficient. What's difficult is if you have to like store VCRs and bikes and then shoes, because like you can't create.
There's no simple way to do that. Yeah. I had another one.
The question, the comments are good.
Yeah. This is the one I wanted to answer. Amanda Brown, is it bad to just list Monday through Friday, or as long as I'm consistently just Monday through Friday, sales would be nicely affected? Assuming that your answer for this, I mean, with Poshmark and Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, it doesn't really, the algorithm isn't as effective if you are inactive. But for what I do with eBay, because I do like to at least take the weekends a little easier, I will have drafts ready to go. So on Saturday and Sunday, whether I'm listing 10 or 15 that day, I can just go into eBay, click all 10, 15 of those drafts with one click of the button. I submit them, and then I cross list them from there, and it takes less than 5 minutes. So I'm still, go ahead.
I was going to say, Amanda, create a system that works best for you. We are full-time resellers because we want to have freedom. And so if you're someone who needs to list everything in one day so that you can spend 6 days like chilling and doing whatever you want to do, then do that. There's pros and cons to every system. So just figure out what works best for you and go.
100%. And I can kind of touch on the topic of the video with that. When you create these, I mean, it's so much easier to create systems when you sell in one category. I think a lot of resellers get it wrong, that they hate their job and they see reselling. And when you look at it on YouTube and social media, it looks like this thing that you just go buy things listed online, and it's not very much work. And they get bogged down by sourcing a ton of different items. They have to research a ton of different items. It takes all day. They end up working more than they used to. And that's just not the goal. We want to streamline every single process as much as possible, so we can take our evenings off, our weekends off. We can take vacations when we want to take vacations, and not be spending so much time on all these different categories.
Yeah. And I think to compound and add a little flavor to that answer, like, you can build a reselling business in every single category. It's going to be a lot more difficult to make a lot of money. So like, you know what I mean? Like you can be in 17 different categories, and that's fine if that's what makes you happy. Just understand that LeBron James is not good at hockey.
And you're spot on with that. I do get kind of passionate about selling in one category, but at the end of the day, it is whatever makes you happy. If you're happy selling in all categories, don't listen to a word I have to say. Like, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, no, I give yourself some credit. Like you're pointing out the reality instead of saying like, hey, you can make $10,000 a day selling VCRs, bikes, bobsleds, and shoes. It's like, I don't know a single person on this planet that does that other than Amazon.
Right.
Like
100%.
And guess what? We're out going and getting all this stuff and bringing it to Amazon.
Oh man, I'm so far behind. I'm gonna try to speed run through some of this. I'll
Dude,
answer this one.
Take your time. Like let's rip.
John Davidson wants to know if I'm closing in on 1 million growth. I am far from it. I know I'm over 200K, which is a great milestone, but far behind the 1 milli.
Who cares, right? Like who cares
Yeah.
about 1 milli? Like it doesn't matter how. Just figure out what works best for you and your goals. Like you're trying to buy a house, right? Like you're working up to that.
Yep. Well, hopefully
Boom, that's the goal.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
And who posted on Instagram? I reposted on my story. Side Hustle Network, I think they posted like some people are happy with 20K, some people are happy with 20 mil or whatever it was, and like just because you're at 1 million gross and I'm at 200,000 gross, it doesn't affect me. Like I'm happy where I'm at. I'll get there eventually. And
your systems. Well, I think what you just said is important too. Like our goal wasn't $1 million. Our goal was how do we pay our bills this month?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next month we realized, oh my gosh, we know how to do this. How do we pay our bills and then put $100 in savings? And then it was like, hey, how do we pay our bills, put 100 in savings, and then put some money away to buy a house in the future? And then it was like, you know what I mean? Like our goal wasn't like, how do we sell $1 million in shoes? Like if I started with that, I would have been like,
yeah,
no, it's not possible.
You're spot on. And with me, my goal, I mean, it's not even a goal at this point. It's like I've built my business up to the point where I'm comfortably paying my bills and my Roth IRA is maxed out every single month. So I know that I can, as long as my Roth IRA is getting maxed out every single month, I can screw up until I'm 60 and still retire a millionaire. So it is what it is. Smart. Drew said 114 people watching, only 35 likes, hit the thumbs up. So
Drew, good call.
Good call. Do you use a daily calendar chart to keep track of listings and sales?
We use Google Sheets and track everything daily. Yeah. But not a calendar.
I have a whiteboard on my wall that I track my, listings, just my listings, because I know that that's the most important thing. So if I can look at the calendar and be like, oh crap, I'm kind of behind, like I need to get caught up. And it's just seeing that every single day is what's more motivational.
My wife, Lindsay, uses a calendar to track like a bunch of other stuff outside of our, like obviously like doctor's appointments and like when bills are going to be paid and stuff. But it's easier for us to look at our phone, Google Sheets, like wherever we are to track that stuff.
100%. Chris Cap, do you use Poshmark Video? Why or why not?
Haven't tried it yet. Because just haven't tried it yet. It's like that's a whole different beast, I think. I think it's cool. I think some people will be really good at it and some people will be horrible at it. I also think about the end user. I think some people don't have good enough Wi-Fi for the video to load. And so I'm trying, everything Lindsay and I do in our business is we're trying to eliminate friction. And so with a video on Posh, you are removing some people from being able to look at your listing if you only do video. But I'm going to be very honest, like we haven't even tried video.
Yeah, I don't have any real input. I've never tried it before. I could see the benefit on if you're selling like electronics and you can show that it works, but I don't know. With me personally, like if I put myself in the shoes of a buyer, I don't care if there's a video on your listing as long as I can see what it is that I'm buying. Like a video is not going to really change anything in my opinion.
I'm going to say something that's going to blow people's mind, and I don't think they realize this. So Poshmark doesn't look at eBay as its competitor. Let me repeat that. Poshmark does not look at eBay and say, how do we compete with eBay? Poshmark looks at freaking Instagram and TikTok and says, how do we compete with them? They are a selling marketplace, but they want you to be like on there and like sipping on coffee and like engaging and saying like, hey girl, like love the dress. And which is why they include the video, which is why they do what they do. Now, knowing that doesn't mean that you have to like sit there and sip coffee and like engage, but respecting that that's where they're coming from allows you to create systems that work best for you.
And just to compound on that, I mean, that's why Instagram added a shopping tab to Instagram. Like that, it's a like Poshmark's intent to compete with Instagram is like reasonable. It might sound crazy, but if it is crazy, then Instagram wouldn't be integrating shopping into their app as well.
Right. It's all the currency of the world is attention.
100%.
If you can, you have to. If you want to be president, if you want to sell a pair of shoes, you have to get attention.
John Davidson, I have shoes that I can't seem to move, but I think they might be lesser desired brands. And I picked them up before I started transitioning in shoes clothing. I mean, you kind of answered that yourself. If they're less desired brands, I mean, you learn from that. Don't pick them up in the future.
Yeah. Or let me add one thing. Or put up a better listing.
That's true. Yep. Look at your lighting.
Put up a better list. It doesn't mean buy expensive camera. It doesn't mean buy expensive, like when it's nice and sunny well, not even that. When just put up a better listing, maybe a thorough description, maybe a better title, whatever. Like there's a couple ways to increase the value of the pair of shoes without getting a different pair of shoes.
100%. Southtown Finds wants to know, do you have a minimum price you're willing to take for an aged listing?
Well, I said it earlier, we double our money. But making a profit and learning from a sale is a very valuable thing. It doesn't go ahead.
I was just going to ask, have you ever sat on a shoe for so long that you got an offer in that like you're either breaking even or not making money, that you're just like, all right, I'm ready to get rid of this shoe?
We always profit on a pair of shoes, period. But sometimes we've made a lot less on a pair of shoes than we would have liked. And it's one of two reasons, right? Like we either didn't put up as quality of a listing or the shoe wasn't as valuable as we thought.
Yeah. And the second point of that, I've done that in the past. The one that stands out to me is a pair of Puma BMWs that kind of look like the Ferrari Pumas that they put out. I didn't even look up comps on them. This was like 3 months into my reselling career, and BMW Puma, might as well pick them up. And I swear they were listed for like 2 years. I rephotographed them twice. I got a $12 offer on Poshmark. I only paid $5 for them. So I still made like $2, but yeah, I get to that point that if it's been there for 2 years and you send me a good offer, I'm going to take it.
But so here's the point. Here's the gold, right? Like, I get, but you learned, like, I promise you, Puma BMWs can sell for more.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
What you can do is like say, hey, you know what? I made money on this, but like, now I'm not going to do that anymore.
Right. 100%.
And just go. What is a bummer is when people keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again, and then they say, why am I not profitable? It's like, that doesn't make sense.
What's up, Carlos? My boy Carlos. This is my buddy. He's actually my only admin, I believe, in the chat. Full send.
What up, Carlos?
Sells on his phone. Are you still adding new shoe brands at this point in your career?
Always.
Every single day. And
I mean, as much as we can. We're trying to be as knowledgeable as we can in the shoe category, period.
Yep. And I'm caught up in the chat. So since this is a good question to get caught up with, because one of the things I wanted to talk about is one of the benefits of niching down and becoming an expert in a single category. When you look at what we do as resellers, we source, we clean or prep, we photograph, we research, we list, we ship, etc. But if you niche down and you become an expert in a single category, you're cutting the research stage completely out. And that's so much time that you spent. Like, I'm not saying that we don't look up comps, but whenever you know what you're looking for when you go into a thrift store, it cuts the time that you spend at a thrift store down drastically, and you can hit more thrift stores in every single day. So, I mean, do you want to touch on that at all?
Well, I just say ditto. Like, it's we spent like 4 or 5 freaking hours in a thrift when we first started,
and that's necessary,
right? Yeah. Like, right. And I wouldn't skip that part. Skip that part. We're hesitant when we say like, oh, these 10 brands sell great for us. Like, that's great, but you still got to look up comps because there's 500 styles within each brand. I mean,
and when you're first starting, you can't like look at a certain shoe and know that model is 5 years old and it doesn't really have the same following anymore because they make that same model every single year. Yeah. And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, touching on that, when you're sourcing, about how much time do you spend per thrift store, and how many thrifts do you hit in a day whenever you're sourcing?
So we build sourcing routes that if I get to all those stops, I've done something wrong. Or
same here. Yeah.
Or like, let me use like, I'm not what's it called? I'm not a like this is like the only, so like we've pulled up to thrifts and the doors have said we're closed because we don't have any power today. Like in that scenario, I'm gonna get to more thrifts. But like I posted, I got 82 pairs at one store by myself, and I was in and out of that store in an hour. Now it's because, and dude, I'll be very honest with you. If I had spent 2 hours in that thrift, I probably could have come home with 160 pairs.
Oh, wow.
I was freaking out. I was like, am I doing something wrong? Did I accidentally like inhale some exhaust on the way here? Like, how is there so many like good pairs? But then you back up and let me tell you why there were so many good pairs. We went when we know that they were going to be fully stocked. We've learned more and more brands throughout the year. So I'm picking up Nursemates. You know, I'm picking up, not only am I picking up Danskos, I'm picking up Sanitas. I'm obviously picking up Skechers. And then I'm picking up the home runs, because out of 82 pairs, like 5 or 6 of them were just rock star home runs. I'm being extremely thorough in checking condition, but that's gotten easier because if we look at the toe of a shoe and there's a rip or tear or stain, I'm not even pulling that shoe off the shelf so I can scan through all that stuff. All those things combined took years to develop. I could have gone to the thrift the day before and walked out with like 5 pairs. And so everything aligned for that day. And I'm sitting here telling you, if I would have been more thorough, I probably could have come home with 162 pairs. But like it's all those things combined. And it also means that there's days where like I'll walk into a thrift that's fully jacked up and walk out with 1 pair.
And what I want to touch on that you said is all the stars aligned for that moment to happen. And all of your stars, if you're listening to this, aren't going to line unless you're consistent and you're learning when the best times to go and what the best stores are. Like, it's easy to see that you post that you find 82 pairs of shoes at one store and think that every single time you go thrifting, you're finding 82 pairs. And then you get bummed out because you go to the thrift store and you're only picking up 10, when there's plenty of times that you've gone to a thrift store and either walked out with nothing or walked out with less than 10 pairs. It's just,
let me jump in right here. Let me jump in. If I walk out of a thrift and I get less than 10 pairs, I need to figure out why. I'm not just saying like, oh shucks, it was a bad day. I'm saying like, all right, was there only 100 pairs to look at? And if that's the case, I'm talking to employees and I'm saying, how come there's not more shoes? And if they're saying, what do you mean? Like, this is all we have. We don't have a lot of stuff in the back. I'm like, all right, I'm crossing this place off my list. Like I'm going to check on this place in like 3 months. But if they're like, oh, we pulled everything this morning that had a yellow tag and we're selling it to like it's going to the bins or something, then I'm like, oh shit. All right. Like this is a Thursday. I need to come before they do that next time. I'm not just going into a thrift and walking out with 1 pair, not figuring out why.
100%.
It's the same reason why I just told you I got 82 pairs. I know why. Like if you don't know why you're losing, you're going to keep losing. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. And you won't know why you're winning either.
Right.
100%. I as far as the thrifting goes, I made a video on Instagram a couple months ago or a month ago, whatever, that struck with people. And I was explaining that, since I'm only selling in one category, I know that on average I'm paying $10 a pair, and on average I'm selling for $30 after shipping and fees. So I know that at every single stop on my route, I'm averaging between 10 and 15 pairs. So let's just say it's 10 every single time I open the door. That's $200 in profit. So I'm trying to hit as many stores as possible. And if Joey catches this, he can attest that like when we went thrifting the other day, I wouldn't say he hated it because he had a blast. We were just hanging out, but he didn't find much because I'm going in there, I'm looking at the shoes, and if I make my money when I open the door, I'm trying to get in and out as fast as possible. So I'm going through the shoes, I'm checking every single one of them. And then after I get the ones that I want to go over thoroughly in my cart, I'm going through those. And if there's 1 or 2 brands that I haven't heard of or I want to check comps on, that's when I'll do the research. But that's a whole lot better than doing the research on every single one of them. Obviously you get to that point, but that's why niching down is so important. And then I'm in and out of that store in 30 minutes and Joey's only gone through one rack of clothing. So there's different business models, and that's just one more reason why niching down is so important in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything you just said.
Okay, gross. Got a pro TikToker and a pro shoe reseller. What homies?
Oh man, I got a TikTok story for you, but
That's
whenever you're ready.
no, you can lay it on me. Go ahead.
So first of all, I love what you're doing.
I
Right?
appreciate that.
Like you're putting out I know that it might be goofy on some are goofy and some are educational, but like that's the way that you create attention, right? It's you either educate or you make it's entertainment or education, and it's a combination of both. What is your goal with TikTok? Like, are you trying to make money? Like, are you?
I mean, obviously that's a bit of a, I mean, it's a bit of a goal, but I don't know. I just found a bit of a passion, not necessarily with TikTok, but with just social media in general. My friends give me a hard time because I'm the kind of person that'll get super into something until I'm decent at it, and then I just get bored.
Yep.
So it's like really, like, if you know me, it's like really impressive that I've been selling shoes for as long as I have. But I mean, it's just, I mean, it's my job now. Like, I know that I got to do this to pay the bills. I love what I do, but I wouldn't say I'm like super passionate about it anymore, because like if I want to scale up, I know exactly what I need to do. I know that if I list 10 pairs a day, every single day of every single month, like my bills are gonna get paid, my investment accounts are gonna get maxed out, and I'm chilling. So I want to free up my time so I can spend more time on these passion projects, if you will. And I've just become, I don't know, making YouTube videos is so fun, and engaging with people. So like hearing people say that some stupid TikTok or reel that I made them smile is just cool. So it's just like, and then learning the algorithm, just like learning the eBay algorithm, is just, I don't know, I found a little passion in it.
I'm glad that you said it like that, because there's a bunch of different directions you can go, right? Like it's niching down, which is the title of this video, allows you to say, like, I just told you, like, we've hired someone to go source for us. Like there's a person sourcing our route right now, sourcing for us. Now people might hear that and be like, oh my God, that's not possible. And like, it's not like your buy cost is gonna be over $10. And like, oh, like, no, we're figuring out ways, and we're getting creative so that I can be here, which where I want to be. And then when we get off, I can spend time with my beautiful wife and my 4-month-old daughter. Like, and the business is going to go, right? Like, just because people don't understand. Now, the TikTok thing is, I'm excited to share, like my sister is big into TikTok. How old are you?
I'm 24.
All right. She's older than you. She's 31. And she's like way into TikTok. Like she just posted a video the other day that got 4.6 million views.
That's insane.
And I talk to her about it all the time. She started a podcast recently where she finds people that go viral, and then she interviews them on her podcast about like, what is it like to go viral?
That's
and
awesome.
Like she has people that are on like Good Morning America, and like all like she's crushing it. But the reason I wanted to mention this, and this might be like a big thing because you can connect the reselling world. She, first of all, getting views on TikTok doesn't make you rich. Like you know who Mr. Beast is?
Of course, yeah.
He has 1 billion views on TikTok, and he made like $14,000.
Yeah, compared to YouTube, it's nothing.
Right. Yeah. But what my sister, so I just told you that's an actual fact. Mr. Beast has over 1 billion with a B views and made $14,000. My sister posted a TikTok like a month ago where her boyfriend gave her a headlamp, like and it's a 45-second video, and she's like, yo, look at this crazy headlamp that my boyfriend gave me. And she like turned it on and like looked in the backyard. She lives down in Florida too. And posted a link to the Amazon listing. Guess how much money she made in 1 week?
And it got over 4 million views.
No, this is a different video.
Different video. How much did the headlamp cost? I think I can guess it.
Her boyfriend gave her the headlamp. I don't know how much I think the headlamp was like $15. Like
it was 15. I bet she made $750.
All right, in 1 week. Here's what we're gonna do in the chat. I want everyone to put a number out there. How much did my little sister, she's 31. How much money did she make in 1 week?
Yeah, we'll give you guys a few seconds. My guess is $750.
From the affiliate link on Amazon. Like, that video didn't get 4 million views.
I'm probably way underneath it.
Someone said, Carlos is all over. 5K, 300, 2,000, 2,000, 14,000. I want to see a couple more come in. 34.75. Wait, first of all, who is a rural squirrel? That's like the best. That's like
it's the best
name ever.
It's impossible to say, but a rural squirrel.
That's a dope name. I kind of wish I had gotten that name. Utah Bot said 1250. Terry said 10K. Tori said 21K. All right, in 1 week, she made $15,000.
I'm gonna go make some TikToks.
Dude. But here's the reason, right? Like she didn't make the video to go viral. She made it. She was like just being goofy, right? She was like, look at my boyfriend her boyfriend doesn't even have social media. And he was like, yo, you need this headlamp. She doesn't need a headlamp. But like it went mini viral and everyone that saw it bought it. Like she was telling me, people in the comments were like, oh, I sew at night, so I need this. And then like hunters were like, so the reason I'm telling you this is I'm glad your answer was, I just get excited to like get people pumped about stuff. But the real money isn't in the amount of views. The real money is connecting people. You got to get Amazon affiliates connected to your TikTok and just talk about grandmas, dude.
Yeah. I got a couple of follow up. First off, I want to ask, whenever that started going viral, or if it even did, I mean, at what point did she put a affiliate link in her bio? Was it before she made the video or after she's seen a little success with it?
No. As she made it, she was like, hey guys, my boyfriend got me this and was like, hey, here's the link on Amazon. Like this is crazy.
So she put the link in the, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. What was I going to follow up with? She
called me. She called me in the first like day. She was making thousands of dollars, and
That's insane.
She called me to be like, "What do I do with this money?" And so we talked strategy and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then she would call me every day and be like, "Oh my god, I made more. And then in the first week, she made $15,000.
That's insane. I've been thinking about finding one product. I mean, Grandma's is a good example. Finding one product to link in my link tree and make videos around that. Because in January, since I started the Closet to Profit series on YouTube, and basically each video I'm investing in a new product, I'll put the Amazon link in the description. And then I've also made a couple TikTok/Reels. It's like my top 3 cleaning supplies or whatever. Yep. And I don't make a ton of money, but I made $150 in January just off of affiliate links, which is
that's real. That's real, dude.
That's almost my whole storage unit paid for from people buying stuff from my link.
It's real. And let's look at why that's happening. It's very valuable. You're saying, hey, here's a thing and here's how to buy it.
Yeah, like, we're not just shilling products that we don't believe. Like if I seen your sister's video about the headlamp, I've been thinking about buying a headlamp so I can see the shoes better in my storage unit. If I seen that video, I might have been like, you know what? Now's the time to buy that lamp.
Yeah.
And it makes complete sense.
Dude, all right, let me share. I just thought of something when we first started that's going to relate to this TikTok viral video and my sister making like a shit ton of money. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to download TikTok and like figure this thing out. But of course, like we're putting out videos as just like another avenue to connect with people. Like I'm not going to ever go. We had one video get over 30,000, but it was like, whatever. Like, I don't understand it. So when we first started, let me explain something we're very no excuses. When we first started, our whole business model selling shoes was buy a pair for under $10 and then sell it on Facebook Marketplace for $25, local meetup, no shipping. I'm getting $25 bill from you. People, we were driving around all day. All day we were delivering shoes. Then the problem was we don't have time to go source. We don't have time to clean. We don't then we said, how do we scale this? So we would go to the bins in the morning and our buying budget was $20. We'd get as many shoes for $20. We'd clean them. We'd list them, but then we hit a ceiling. So this is where the affiliate thing comes in. I don't even know if you've heard about this. You've probably heard about what we did on scaling our Facebook.
Oh, yeah. You connected, like you basically made an affiliate network of people on Facebook promoting your product and you give them a commission if they make a sale. Yeah.
There was people making $800 a month.
I don't doubt it. Yeah,
posting our shoes and then telling Lindsay and I where to go drop off the shoes. They were just sitting at home. It's real. There's value. And so you saying, hey, I'm trying this new drill. Here's a link to it on Amazon.
Mhm.
Like if that company, Ryobi or whatever, is like,
Mhm.
oh shit, look at this guy. We've never thought about someone using our drill to clean a pair of shoes. Let's
Mhm.
post it on our, and all of a sudden you get a
Boom.
million views, and
Mhm.
now you're freaking next to my sister dancing around doing TikToks.
Yeah, the affiliate income is crazy. Like whenever I'm like in my downtime, like if I'm watching non-reselling, first off, I don't really watch much reselling content on YouTube in the first place, but when I'm on YouTube, like one of my favorite things to watch is like desk setup tours, like people just going over
Nice.
their desk. And
Nice.
obviously they're making so much money because everything that they're talking about on their desk, they have linked in the description, and everything is like $1,000 monitor, a $1,000 laptop. And I just only imagine how many people are buying through those links and how much money that they're making just showing people their desk.
And
It's
you know
insane.
what? You know what?
Huh.
They hit your link to buy the monitor. You also get a piece of the patio set that they buy.
Yep.
You also, so like people have gone through our link to buy grandma's and bought a patio set.
Yeah.
And we get a piece, like we're just saying, go buy the grandma's. We're not pointing you in the patio set direction.
Yeah.
But that's where Amazon says, okay, let us step in here and show like, oh, you want to buy a modular home and have set it up in your backyard. And we're going to give RNZY a piece of the pie for connecting you with us.
Right. Yeah. It's been a while, but I remember going through my Amazon account and seeing like what I've made commission off of. And it's just like this, it's so random. It's like, how did they go through my link to get to that?
But well, I guess the whole point of this conversation too was your answer was like, it brings me joy, which is the best thing.
Yeah.
Now take the joy and you can do a couple tweaks and make a significant amount of money.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so weird. Like I want to do things that I enjoy, but I'm also wired to like make money out of it.
That's
like
that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. Like for example, on the last live I did, I've been talking about this forever. Like I love playing video games, but I haven't picked up a controller in like 2 months because like whether you just call it discipline or whatever it is, like if I got something to do that is productive, like I'm not saying I'm super productive. I will sit there and scroll through Instagram and TikTok for an hour. But I won't do things that I enjoy that take time if I have work to do. And so I was on my live and I was like, you know what if I just started streaming on Twitch?
You should.
I mean, I'm thinking about it. I just don't know what game to play. So
you know what? You look like Dr. Doom, or what's his name?
Dr. Doom.
Do you know the guy?
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Are you talking about the guy from Fantastic Four?
No. I'm talking about the guy who streams on Twitch.
Oh, then no, I don't know who it is.
His name's Dr. Someone in the comments knows what I'm talking about. He streams, of course, himself playing like all these games, and he's got a mustache like you, but he's very like, he's Dr. Disrespect. That's who it is. And dude, he has like stupid tens of thousands of people that are just like, every single time they're like, here's $5, here's $5, here's $5.
Yeah, that's insane. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I think it's Dr. Disrespect. Yeah.
I don't watch anybody that streams. I don't know that I've ever sat down and watched an actual live stream, but just like, if I told myself, I'm going to give myself a schedule on Tuesday night and Friday night, whatever it is, like I'd probably actually do that versus just tell myself that I need to take a break.
Dabble in it, man. Well, so here's why you should dabble in it, because you've got that base that you just said a couple minutes ago in your reselling business. If you were making like $14 a day in your bills, like I wouldn't say, go F around and that. I would say like, let's make the LeBron James effect, right? Like LeBron James owns schools and he owns part of a English soccer team. He owns but he's very good at basketball.
Yep.
He keeps the main thing.
Yep. You find your steak and then you can dabble in the side dishes.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask?
There's some good.
Yeah. I was gonna mention this. I've had several comments about that sweatshirt. You want to do a little auction?
Auction, dude. I'm not giving this thing away. Are you kidding me? This is one of my favorite thrift finds. Eventually, if I find another one, I'll give it away, and I'll come back on. We'll go live, and I'll give it away. Not an auction, but we'll have to drive a ton of subscribers to your channel or something.
Yeah.
Maybe, let me make it very clear why. Like I live in the woods in Maine, and it's cold as snail, and then this keeps me warm, and it does give me good vibes. And I got it for like $2 at the thrift.
I love that. I wrapped up all of the questions that I had around finding a niche, And we are at the hour and a half mark. So if you guys have any questions that we haven't answered yet, make sure to drop those down in the chat right now. Since we are already on the topic of we are like social media, do you have any goals for social media? Do you have anything that you want to share with the people? Anything that you're working on?
Yeah, we've realized a while ago that social media is if we treat it as a healthy way to connect with people, it remains that. That means that we're blocking a lot of people. like if you DM us and say something to the effect of like, well, I guess one of the topics is like resellers steal from the poor, and you guys suck, and there's no question. Bye.
Yep.
If you say you steal from the poor, can you explain why it makes sense to like support resellers? All right, I'll answer you. If you message us and say shoes are smelly and my thrifts suck, period, what are you doing? Like, bye. If you DM us and you have 0 posts, no profile picture, you don't follow any, you follow 0 people and you have 0 followers, bye.
Yeah, I usually give people 2 messages. Like if they send a rude message the first time, I just delete it. I don't accept it. And then if I see their face pop up again, then yeah, they're getting blocked.
Well, I'll tell you what, you have more threshold than us. Like now I say that, but I'll spend all day. We talk to hundreds of people through Instagram that have great questions. And I don't care if you're asking us what kind of boxes do you use. I don't care if you're like, how do you sell more shoes? I don't care. Like we have so many hundreds and hundreds every single day of really amazing people messaging us and saying like, oh my God, I'm struggling. Can you give me some advice on X, Y, and Z? Absolutely. We'll take time out of our day to answer that all day. But if you just message complaining and there's no question, you're mouth vomiting in the wrong pot. Like I got 0 seconds for you.
I love that.
And wait, your question was like social media goals. So we want to grow our social media. We don't, whatever that it turns into. Because we've never met in person and we consider you a friend. Like, oh my God, we're going to introduce you to our daughter.
Avery. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Avery June.
Hello.
Like, that guy's mustache is scary.
Stole the show. I don't know how I'm going to follow this up.
Little Avery June.
Everybody in the chat say hi. The chat is about to blow up. Once it catches up.
She's officially a 12-pounder now.
That's insane.
Yeah. She's like, Dad, can we run around the house and play Superman like we always do?
How are you doing, Lindsay? Good to see you.
We're good.
She's like, Dad, you're speaking really loud. You're usually a lot quieter. I'm glad we got to say hi.
Bye, Dalton.
Bye.
What was I saying? Oh, social media. So we use it as a tool, right? And tools like a hammer is a tool. You can hammer your hand and break your thumb if you don't use it correctly. 100%. So like most people get caught up in using social media incorrectly, or they're scared to like block someone. Like, I don't care. I'll block anyone that's causing me bad vibes or bad riffraff, because there's so many good people out there that I want to give my attention and time to. And so our goals are to grow, whatever that means.
Cool. I do have a follow-up question, but first I want to give a shout out to Stetson. He said, what's up? I grew up with this guy in Kansas. So it's cool seeing people that, like, he just said he never misses an upload. I had no idea about that. So I appreciate you.
What up, Stetson?
I really appreciate you watching my videos, man. I can't wait to see you again.
Very cool. Wait a minute. I got a question.
Lay it on me. Was it for Stetson?
Salty? He called you salty.
Yeah, that's a long story, but that was my nickname in high school.
All right. Well, that's for another live feed. I know,
that's
you go by Salty Souls, right?
Yeah, that had a little bit to play into it. I mean, I have a nice out that, I mean, I live in Florida, Salty Souls, walking on the beach. You know, it kind of makes sense, but that's where it came from.
Very cool.
I was gonna ask though, with these haters, you've been putting out TikTok content recently.
Yeah.
Have you had any blow up to the point that you get a lot of hate?
No, dude, I block people like crazy.
Even on TikTok, you just block people.
Yeah, dude. I don't have time. I don't have time to like, it takes 1 millisecond to block them.
You're right.
I don't need their comment to like help me on the algorithm on TikTok. what I want to do is answer. We had a 70-year-old woman message us on TikTok. First of all, we don't get a lot of views and stuff, but it's like, and to be honest with you, I'm not respecting TikTok for what it is. I'm just taking my Instagram reel and posting it over on TikTok.
Right.
So let's be very clear. Like, I'm not good and not respecting the marketplace as what it should be, but it's another way to connect with people. Like, there's people that are on TikTok that are not on Instagram or haven't seen us. And it's just another way to connect with people. There's a 70-year-old woman, or she said she was 70. Who knows what the truth is. And she was like, oh my God, you're inspiring me to go out to my thrift and find some shoes and clean them up and sell them. It's like, dope. That's cool.
Cool. Yeah. I found myself whenever, sometimes I'll engage with people that I probably shouldn't engage with. I was arguing with this guy, not really arguing, just playing fun. When Jiggly Thrift shouted both of us out on TikTok, and there was someone like bashing you in the comments. I'm like, I don't know why I stepped in. I'm like, these guys, just go look at their Instagram. They're more transparent. Like they're talking about how you had the $1 million in your bio. And I'm just like, I wasted so much time on that. I'm like,
well, number one, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? Number two, you don't have to. Like, and I know you know this. It's innate, right? Like, we're humans. There's tribalism. You want to stick up for your friends, and it's a good thing. It's coming from a very, very good place, but it never goes anywhere.
No, you're not changing anybody's mind
ever.
All right,
even if you do change that person's mind.
True.
For what? Who cares?
Yeah. You're never gonna meet this guy.
Yeah.
He didn't even have a profile picture.
Classic.
There was a couple questions. Zach asked, is there a good video to watch and set up an affiliate account? I think so. It's not as straightforward as you think. I think I did have to watch a video, just YouTube it. I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah.
Red Tim, how often do you share on Poshmark? Do you do individual share or the whole closet?
All our listings multiple times per day.
Yep. Same here.
Yep.
I have a video out called, Best Way to Share on Poshmark. If you want to go watch that, I talk about Poshmark's terms of service and the different options that you have when sharing. But the best answer is share as often as possible.
Yeah. At least once per day.
Yep. Your whole closet, at least once per day. And it's super easy now that they added the bulk sharing tool. So if you don't have a big closet and you don't want to outsource your sourcing or your sharing, you just click all of them and it does it all at once. So yeah. Let's see if we got any more questions.
There's some good stuff coming in. Jackie O,
love to hear that. Killing it. Jackie's killing it. I see her all the time in all these live streams.
Jackie O, I like your profile photo too. It looks like you and a little one, and you got a filter on there.
Yeah, they got the bear ears. Let's go.
That's cool.
This is 100% true. My TikTok is saying, "Bro, stop! You can't sell those shoes for that much."
Oh my God, it's so funny.
Does the thought ever cross your mind that once someone buys a pair, they might not buy it again ever for a year? Is that something that worries you as far as repeat buyers?
No, we don't get worried because there's actions you can take to increase the amount of repeat buyers that you have. You can offer a coupon. You can handwrite a note that gives them excitement saying, holy crap, this person wrote thank you. And now I'm going to look them up. There's tools on every single marketplace where you can track who's been buying from you, and then you can reconnect with them. In your description of each listing, you can say, hey, we are always listing more shoes. Let us know if you want to buy multiple stuff. Like, there's so many actions you can take that will get you the result of repeat buyers that there's no need to worry about it.
100%. And even if they're the kind of person that buys one pair of shoes a year, doesn't mean they're going to not buy shoes for their daughter, their wife, their sister, their uncle. Like,
right. Or tell them where they got their shoes.
100%. That's awesome. Thanks for the video on taking pics of shoes. I redid my photos and saw 400% increase in sales. And spot on. Somebody messaged me the other day. Have you ever sold the brand APL, Athletic Propulsion Labs? No, I just found a pair for the first time. They seem like a Poshmark seller. The eBay comps aren't that great, but that's beside the point.
Cool.
I posted it on my story just saying that I found it for the first time, and somebody messaged me and said, I've had this brand literally brand new in the box with tags sitting for months and it's not selling. Why is it? And I said, send me the listing. And the first picture that they had on the listing was the toes of the shoes. Like, you couldn't see anything. So just be intentional about like your listing. Like whenever you're going to Nike.com, they don't list their shoes with the toes of the shoes showing. It's the side, so you can see what the shoe actually looks like. And after she switched from the toes of the shoes to the side of the shoes, she sold them within a week.
Imagine you were trying to date someone and this was their profile.
That's it. Yeah.
What are you doing?
100%.
Like you're not going to click on that profile and be like, oh, you know what I mean?
No,
you're gonna,
100%.
That's not even interesting. You're looking at like the pores in my nose. Like back it up and show what you're selling.
You're spot on. Do you want to touch on the SEF and how that's going?
Yeah, sure. I can touch a little bit about it. So the SEF is the Sweat Equity Fund. We launched an equity fund where we invest in resellers and help them improve their business by walking them through 1,000 pairs sold. And we've created an environment where it's very resource rich. We have a tax professional on hand that they have access to. We have people that are getting good on every single marketplace, so we can talk strategy on each one. And it just creates a environment where through 1,000 pairs sold, you can figure out what works best for you. And so we've invested in 5 people. We're going to invest in 10 more resellers before the end of the year, but we're going to do it in a way that is very methodical. We're not just trying to like invest in a reseller and then back up and say, you know, go sell shoes. We want to make sure that because it's not cookie cutter, it's not like, hey, do this on Poshmark, go. It's like, hey, this is what's working on Poshmark. Let's figure out what works best for you, blah, 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 blah. We want to make sure that we're being very methodical, which is why we started with 5 and we're gradually going to be rolling out 10 more.
Sweet. Do you have a timeline on when the 10's getting rolled out? So these they know what to keep up with?
Yeah, we got way more response than we thought we were going to get through email. So the video that we dropped,
I could have told you that.
Yeah. Well, we were being well, I guess we could have predicted. Actually, we couldn't have predicted. We got hundreds of like very thoughtful emails. And so we've been going through those and responding to people and like trying to get a little bit more information from them. Patience. This is not a quick methodical thing. So like if you haven't heard back from us, it's okay. It's just because we've got hundreds and hundreds of emails and we're being very thoughtful because people are being thoughtful when they have emailed us, right? Like people are telling us their life stories, which is great. Not needed, but like great. They're pouring themselves into an email because they want to be part of this thing. And we want to respect that rather than just saying, well, this is too long to read. And I'm not a really good reader. So I'm even slower when it's going through that. So just have some patience and know that we're playing a long game with this.
So you're still taking email applications at this point?
Oh, so we're playing the super long game with this. Like when we invest in people, we're going to, like some people are going to be able to, the first 5 people we invested in are ripping through the 1,000 pairs.
Oh, I can tell.
Going quick. Yeah. And some are taking longer than others, which that's the whole point, right? Like there's not one cookie cutter. This is how you sell 1,000 pairs. And we want to be methodical about it. So within that, we are probably not going to make another investment until one of the resellers is like close to the end of their 1,000 pairs.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't say like we're going to do it this month, next month. We're just going to be very, very thoughtful with it.
So if anybody's watching this and wants to shoot an email and sign up or learn more about it, is the video on your Instagram?
Yeah. It's called Sweat Equity Fund. It's a black screen. It says Sweat Equity Fund. Watch that video first to make sure that it's even something that you might be interested in. And then in that video, it tells you the email to go and exactly what to do.
Sweet. Love it. Unless something comes in, we'll just finish up with this last question. Do you use your own labels for Mercari or do you buy your own? Or do you use Mercari?
We use USPS through Mercari. Is that what you mean? Is that what they mean?
I think so. I ship on my own and I use Pirate Ship.
Oh, so okay. Yeah. We use Mercari USPS prepaid labels. It's more expensive, but it's
more streamlined.
It's more streamlined. Yeah. And I think, so does Pirate Ship offer you security?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, okay. So there, I get where you're going with this. If I get a return on Mercari, I eat the shipping cost. And I think that you don't, correct?
Right.
Yeah. I really don't even know why. I just got in such a habit of using pirate ship that I just use pirate ship. I don't know.
Systems, right? Like systems, right? That creates efficiency. We've never used pirate ship, so like it would be harder to like figure out. But something to keep in mind, you also don't get a lot of returns on Mercari in general. So it might, but for us, like if you use a third party shipper like pirate ship, you lose your Mercari. You lose your Mercari. What did I just call it? Safety. You lose your Mercari. So like, but if pirate ship covers you, then you're covered there.
Cool. All right. We still got 133 people in the chat. That's amazing. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Ryan, I really appreciate you coming on. This has been a blast. The past hour and 44 minutes kind of blew by a lot faster than I was expecting.
Goes quick, man.
Really appreciate you agreeing to this.
Dude, I appreciate you, man. And like, I wasn't fluffing it up. Like Lindsay and I consider you a friend, and
likewise.
And we've never met in person, but we definitely will, especially come August. I think I saw Mrs. Tornado in the comments say like, "Oh, there's an event coming up." Little, we love them. So I can't wait to see you in person. Chop it up. I can't wait to see the next TikTok you put out. Like, keep doing what you're doing, man. And if there's anything Lindsay and I can do to help support you, your business, anything you got going on, let us know.
Same for you. I appreciate it.
Cool. All right, brother.
Peace out. Thanks everybody for stopping by.